I used to think that Bitcoin was just a passing fad until it blasted past $100,000 and appended everything that I thought I knew. Now, I'm about to share the crazy journey that changed me from a Bitcoin skeptic into a bit of a true believer. And trust me here, it's going to get personal. Let me take you back just a bit, right? When I first heard about Bitcoin, I kind of laughed. It sounded a bit like monopoly money for the nerds. Now, I remember just rolling my eyes when a friend tried to explain it to me over lunch. Digital coins with no banks. No thank you. At least I thought. See, back then, Bitcoin was mostly known as the currency of the dark web, places where the Silk Road black market exclusively took Bitcoin for, well, your illegal stuff. And that only reinforced a lot of my skepticism. I figured it was either going to be a scam or a phase that would eventually fizzle out. Then, over the years, I watched Bitcoin refuse to die. It kept coming back, hitting new highs, then crashing spectacularly, then climbing even higher. Now, I saw headlines of people getting rich, and admittedly, I felt a bit of the same FOMO. But I also remembered the horror stories too. People losing fortunes in hacks or exchange collapses. It was hard to know what to truly believe. Now, the wake-up call for me, it came when Bitcoin finally broke into six figures. So when I saw that kind of cross $100,000, my phone lit up with text messages from friends saying, is it too late to buy? What the heck is going on? Even Wall Street was changing its tune. I read that BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, was recommending investors put 1 to 2% of their portfolios into Bitcoin. I was like, wait, what? The same financial giant that once mocked crypto were now quietly hopping on board. And even a nation, El Salvador, had even made Bitcoin an official currency back in 2021. So all of this kind of blew my mind. Clearly, there was something real that was happening here, something that I needed to understand. So I fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole just to find out why this digital coin was making waves across the world. What I discovered, it changed everything for me. First off, what exactly is Bitcoin? Well, at its core, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency. That's a fancy way of just saying that it's online money that nobody, no government, no company, actually owns or controls. So instead of thousands, instead you have thousands of these computers just around the world that maintain the Bitcoin network altogether. So that's it, right? Picture a giant shared ledger then, a bit like a global spreadsheet, right? That records every single Bitcoin transaction. Now this ledger, it is called the blockchain, and every computer that holds a copy of it is called a node. Now, these nodes, they constantly check and agree with each other on every single new transaction. There are no middlemen needed. See, Bitcoin, it was actually invented in 2008 by someone with the kind of, alias of Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, to this day, no one truly knows who Satoshi really is. An individual, a group, an alien. I'm just kidding. Maybe, just a little bit, right? Satoshi actually published a white paper online in October of 2008 describing a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So when, at least back then, right, January 2009, Bitcoin officially went live with the first block of the blockchain that was created. Here's a fun fact for you guys. Satoshi embedded a secret message in that very first block. It was the headline from the Times newspaper, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for the banks. Now this was during the financial crisis, and that message was not random. It was a statement because Satoshi was hinting that Bitcoin was born as a response to the bailouts and broken trust in the banking system. Talk about symbolic. After launching Bitcoin, Satoshi stuck around for just a bit, communicating with the very early users through emails and forums. But by 2010, having mined about 1 million Bitcoins for themselves, Satoshi vanished, handing off the project to other developers, and just poof, the creator disappeared, leaving a decentralized community to carry the torch. Now, to this day, Satoshi's identity is an unsolved mystery, right? Which honestly adds a bit more to the legend of Bitcoin. So why did this thing matter so much? Why did Bitcoin need to exist? Well, in one word, trust. Or, better still, the lack of trust. Now, the world in 2008, it had just seen banks fail and get bailed out. People realized that when you keep your money in a bank, you're trusting that bank with your livelihood, and that trust can be betrayed. See, Bitcoin, it proposed a new model. Trust the math, not the middleman. Now, it created a digital scarcity. Only 21 million Bitcoins can ever exist, period. No one can print any more of it like they do with the dollars or inflate it away. Now, this was like digital gold, but even rarer, because we know the exact fixed supply, and new Bitcoins enter circulation on a predictable schedule, approximately every 10 minutes. Now, a Bitcoin, at least a little bit of Bitcoin, is released as a reward for those of the people who are helping secure the network. And every 4 years or so, that reward, it gets cut in half, an event that is known as the halving. Now, these halvings are a part of Bitcoin's DNA to ensure that all 21 million coins won't be mined until roughly the year 2140. In fact, as of today, that is only about 19.5 million Bitcoins that have already been mined, leaving only 1.5 million yet to be created over the next century. So let's think about that then. Almost all of the Bitcoin that will ever exist is already out in the world. Some estimates say 20% of those coins are permanently lost too, gone because people misplaced their passwords or threw out old hard drives, myself included. So, effectively, Bitcoin might be even scarcer than anyone actually realizes. Now, beyond scarcity, Bitcoin is also censorship resistant. Now that means that if I want to send value to someone else, there's no bank or government that can actually step in here to block that transaction. Now, as long as I have an internet connection, you can transact freely, right? Now, that idea, it blew me away. I mean, I grew up thinking that banks had to be the intermediaries for moving all the money, but Bitcoin showed the world that you could have a network do that job instead, a network owned by no one and open to everyone. So, now, how does Bitcoin's network actually work under the hood then? Well, this part turned out to be both geeky and, well, genius. Remember those computers, those nodes that I spoke about earlier, keeping the ledger alive? Well, how do we make sure that everyone's copy of the ledger stays in sync and that nobody cheats the code? Well, Bitcoin's answer is called mining. Now, mining is like global competition. Powerful computers race to solve a cryptographic puzzle, and the winner gets to add the next block of transactions to the actual blockchain, and earn a reward in Bitcoin for doing so. Now, this is called proof of work. It's basically the system's way of saying, if you did the work, spent the electricity and computing power to secure the network, then you earn some Bitcoin as a thank you. Now, the cool thing here is that this process is extremely secure. To tamper with the blockchain, someone would need to control over 50% of all of the mining power in the whole entire world. So, an attack is so expensive and difficult that it's just practically impossible. And that is why that you sometimes hear Bitcoin is unhackable. It's not that attacks can't be attempted, it's that the network's combined computing power and the energy that is behind it is so massive, breaking it would cost more than any of the rewards that you would have gained. You see, mining, it does use a whole ton of electricity, which, has drawn some criticism from the environmentalists. Now, this worried me too at first. However, I did learn that many miners are actually moving towards renewable energy sources or excess power that can, or at least would otherwise have been maybe wasted. Now, it's an ongoing debate, of course, but it's good to know that the industry is aware of this particular issue, and Bitcoin's design also naturally pushes miners to be more efficient. Wasteful miners can't profit for the long term. Still, the energy issue is something that we do need to watch. It is a trade-off here for having a truly secure and decentralized system. All right, so by this point in my journey, I was kind of understanding what Bitcoin is. It's a decentralized, limited, secure digital currency. But I still had a few questions like, how do you actually get Bitcoin? And what do you do with it once you actually have it? Well, this is where things get a bit more practical. You see, the most common way to buy Bitcoin is through a cryptocurrency exchange. Think of this as like an exchange, like an online marketplace where people trade dollars for Bitcoin or Bitcoin for other cryptocurrencies or even back to dollars. Now, there are some big names that are out there, things like Coinbase or Binance that many beginners probably do use. Now, personally, I use multiple different exchanges. I have a strategy, you see. Always have a plan A, plan B, and a plan C when it comes to these crypto exchanges. Why? Because, well, you never know when one might just suddenly go down or freeze up under heavy load. So I've witnessed this during many various crypto exchange outages and of course the infamous FTX bankruptcy collapse where users suddenly couldn't withdraw their funds and lost everything. So now I make sure that I'm signed up with, I even do the whole KYC verified thing on several different platforms way in advance. For example, I'm on platforms like Binance, Coinbase, Bybit, Kraken, Blowfin, BitGet, and many, many others. And if you do head over to my website for the link that's in the description down below, you'll find all of the exchanges that I do personally use. Now, here's a heads up, and for transparency, those links on my website, they're affiliate links, which means that if you do sign up to the exchanges using my links on my website, you actually support the channel here at no extra cost to yourselves. So, I want to say a big thank you to anyone who heads over there to use those links. But affiliate links or not, the point is that I spread my activity across a few different exchanges just in case one or two has a few issues. It's kind of like not putting all of your eggs into one basket. If exchange A has a meltdown, I can just quickly move over to exchange B or exchange C and carry on. Even with that precaution, here's also a golden rule that I learned the slightly hard way, of course. Not your keys, not your coins. Keeping your Bitcoin on an exchange is pretty convenient, but it is a bit like leaving all of your cash at the bank. If the bank has a few problems, well, your money could be stuck, right? So in crypto terms, if the exchange were to get hacked or goes bust, your Bitcoin could vanish or be tied up for many years. So many of us choose to withdraw our Bitcoin into a personal wallet. This is where you truly do have control over your coins. There are a couple of ways to do this. You can have a software wallet, like an application on your phone or your computer, or a hardware wallet. Now, I prefer hardware wallets myself for significant amounts of cryptocurrencies. Now, there are, at least I should say, these things are a bit like USB devices that store your private keys offline. So think of it like a vault for your digital coins. Now, there are a few different brands out there. Ledger, Trezor are popular brands among many others. Now, when you have your Bitcoin in a wallet that you control, no exchange hack can take it from you. The flip side is, though, that if you lose your wallet or the backup seed phrases, well, no one can save you either. So remember, that stat, about 20% of all Bitcoin being lost forever, well, that's largely from people who are misplacing their own keys. So I'm extremely careful with my backup seed phrases, of course. I treat it like the key to a safety deposit box. If you are interested in hardware wallets, you can check out the link in the description down below to Ledger, which is what I personally use. Now, when it comes to any hardware wallet, the thing that I would say is most crucial here is to always buy it directly from the manufacturer. Unfortunately, there are some dodgy devices out there, meaning that they've been tampered with and potentially you are not actually storing your crypto in your own vault. Essentially, you're giving your crypto to a hacker or some kind of scammer. So always use the link that's in the description down below here, which I can personally vet is secure. And of course, make sure you go and buy these things directly from the manufacturer. Now, the link in the description down below is also an affiliate link, which means if you do use that, it will support the channel here at no extra cost to yourself. So again, a big thank you if you do head over to check out Ledger. Now, one of the big questions that you might have, and I know I did, is this. What can you actually do with Bitcoin? I mean, it's pretty cool to hold as an investment, sure, but can you actually spend it? And the answer today is yes, more than ever, actually. Because at least you can actually buy gift cards, you can book some travel, you can even buy a house with Bitcoin in some places too. So major payment processors like PayPal and Cash App let you buy and use Bitcoin too. And some retailers also accept it directly. Now, do you remember El Salvador earlier? Well, they even set up Bitcoin ATMs and pay people in Bitcoin too. Now, that said, Bitcoin isn't widely used for day-to-day purchases just yet, and most likely won't, because, it's still a bit slow and the price swings are a bit like a roller coaster. Most people are usually looking at it as digital gold, a kind of safety net or an investment, an alternative to your usual fiat paper currencies. Now, the network, of course, it does process about 7 transactions per second on its base layer, which is nothing compared to, let's say, Visa or anything, or MasterCard like that, right? Now, to fix that, developers, they did create the Lightning Network, which is basically like a second layer payment protocol that is built on top of Bitcoin to enable faster transactions. And with Lightning, you can pay for a coffee with Bitcoin instantly, and almost no fees at all, which is pretty amazing too. Now, I've been experimenting with it, and it really does make Bitcoin feel a bit like digital cash. Now, speaking of experimenting, I also discovered a project called Unity during my crypto adventures here. Now, this part is really quite cool, because Unity nodes basically lets you turn a smartphone into a miniature node for a telecoms network, and you can earn crypto rewards for doing so. That includes Bitcoin, by the way, in return for this work. Now, it's kind of like the mining that I've explained already, but instead of crunching math problems, your phone actually helps verify cell network coverage by making test calls through an application. Every verification contributes to a decentralized mobile network, and you can be rewarded for it, kind of like how Bitcoin mining rewards you for securing the blockchain. Now, when I first heard about this, I did a bit of a double take. I was like, wait, I can earn Bitcoin or any other coin by just using my phone to improve the telecoms network. It sounded a bit futuristic, but it is actually happening. Now, Unity nodes, it showed me how far the crypto revolution has come. It's not just about computers here in basements anymore. It's actually everyday devices contributing to networks. Now, I bring this up today because it underscores something rather important here. Bitcoin started this movement, and now these ideas are actually sparking all sorts of different innovations. The concept of rewarding people for helping run a network, that's Bitcoin's DNA, right? And now we're seeing it being applied in rather new ways, like bridging crypto with mobile technology. As someone learning about Bitcoin, it made me realize that I wasn't just learning about one coin here. I was actually stepping into an entire ecosystem of creativity and change. Now, I won't lie to you guys, Bitcoin is not all sunshine and rainbows. It comes with some very real risks and challenges too. The price is notoriously volatile. We're talking about drops of 50% or more in a matter of just months. Now, if you had a weak stomach, or you need your money next week to pay some rent, Bitcoin's wild swings can be a gut-wrenching move. Governments and regulators are still trying to figure it out too. Some countries have tried to ban it outright. I mean, China has banned trading, for instance, while others are embracing it, or at least kind of creating clearer rules around it. Regulation is a double-edged sword though. Get it wrong, and it could stifle Bitcoin's growth. Get it right, and it could pave the way for far more adoption. And I already mentioned the security aspect, right? You have to be your own bank with Bitcoin. Now that means being rather responsible for keeping your funds safe from hackers and scammers alike. Scams are everywhere in crypto. Fake websites, phishing emails, send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll send you 2 back. All of that are scams. Twitter scams everywhere, you name it, right? Now, you do have to stay vigilant here and skeptical, right? Which can feel a little bit like a part-time job. After months and months of research, late night rabbit holes, and yes, finally buying some Bitcoin of my own, here is where I stand with this one. Bitcoin has won me over, not because it's some guaranteed jackpot. It's not, of course, and nothing in crypto is ever guaranteed, but because it represents something much bigger, a new way to think about money and ownership. I went from chuckling at this magical internet money to realizing that it's potentially one of the most significant technological shifts of our lifetime. And it's not just me. When I see corporations adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, investment funds launching Bitcoin ETFs, and tens of thousands of nodes run by people worldwide, it tells me that Bitcoin is here to stay. The road will be bumpy, there's no doubt about that. We'll see manias and crashes. We'll see skeptics saying I told you so during every downturn. But we'll also see innovation, resilience, and maybe, over time, a more democratized financial system. Now, this might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video has been financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You need to do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So, what is my personal game plan here? Well, I'm not betting the farm on Bitcoin here, right? But I'm also steadily accumulating a position that I am going to be comfortable with. Some people do something that is called dollar cost averaging, buying a fixed amount every single week or month to smooth out the ride. And that's actually a pretty decent strategy that I like. It turns the volatility into a bit of an advantage, by letting me buy more when prices are low. And crucially, I only invest money that I'm prepared to leave in Bitcoin for several years at least. In my mind, I'm not trading Bitcoin for a quick profit here. I'm adopting it as a part of my life. Whether it's using it, holding it, or earning a little bit through things like Unity nodes, I want to participate in this new paradigm rather than just watch from the sidelines. And looking back, I'm so glad that I pushed past all of the noise and actually learned about Bitcoin. It's been a wild ride, and I'm sure it's far from over. Now, if you are new to all of this, I do encourage you to keep learning. Join communities. I mean, we do have a free educational Discord. There's a link for that in the description below, where newbies and seasoned people alike share knowledge and answer questions. Surround yourself, of course, with information and differing opinions too. I went from Bitcoin is a scam to Bitcoin might change the world by being open to learning. Maybe you will too. In the end, Bitcoin is more than just another investment. It's a movement here. It's about taking control of your own money, questioning the status quo of finance, and exploring technology's potential to empower people. Whether Bitcoin eventually becomes the global reserve currency or just a digital gold for the tech savvy, the genie, it is now out of the bottle. The idea of decentralized money, it is here, and it's not going anywhere. So, as for me, I've made my peace with being the crypto friend among my group. The next time that someone asks me, is it too late to get into Bitcoin? I'm just going to smile and say, sit down. Let me tell you a story. Maybe even this very story that I've shared with you today. So, if you have found this journey enlightening, you can do me a favor. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button and join more of our personal crypto stories and insights. And if you're hungry for more, we actually operate 5 different cryptocurrency-based channels. This is just one. In the links in the description, you'll find all of the other channels that we operate. So if you're eager to learn more about crypto, then why don't you go ahead and check those out. I will see you all in the next video.